And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the Flatout Racing Network's coverage of race number 4, season 5 of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake series. Back here under the lights at Talladega Nights Super Speedway. 66 laps await these drivers. By my last count, looks like about 39-40 drivers going to be taking the green flag here this evening. We've almost got a complete full field here tonight as we have reached the midway portion of the regular season. 3 races to start out the season. 3 different drivers have gone to victory lane. 2 of them are up in current playoff positions. The other one just on the outside looking in. Expect a lot of moving and shaking here tonight as drivers have kind of gotten some races under their belts. They've now got their goals clear for what they need to do to either get into the top 12 in points or stay inside the top 12 in points. And we'll see how it culminates here this evening, preparing themselves for the home stretch towards the playoffs. I'm Seth Cole. I'll be joined momentarily by Michael Norman. Drivers are just now finishing up their qualifying, and we'll be getting the starting lineup in just a few moments. Of course, these drivers had the off week with Thanksgiving, so a little bit of time to relax and get themselves prepped here for tonight's event. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen. The season opener was won by Rodney Sullins. Ken Roberts followed it up with the victory in race number 2. And last time out, 2 weeks ago, it was Chuck McClure that went to victory lane. Well, Rodney Sullins, he missed the last race, had to take provisional, so subsequently he lost the points lead. He's 4th in overall points. Ken Roberts, who's been consistent with that victory, he is 2nd in overall points, a total of 18 points behind Grant Wesley. And Chuck McClure with his victory 2 weeks ago, he is 11, or make that 13th rather, in points. He is 11 points below the cut line, right below Ulysses Sandoval. He'll look to point his way up into the top 12 here tonight. Will we go 4 for 4 in different winners going to victory lane? We're going to be finding that out in just a few moments as you see drivers out on the racetrack here for happy hour in preparation for the upcoming race. Be interesting to see what it's going to be like here tonight. Usually in the early going of the season, drivers have the early jitters. They want to get that victory at the beginning of the season, get those maximum points. Things sometimes seem to mellow out around the midway portion of the season. Drivers realizing in order to finish first, you have to first finish. You got to get yourself there to the end of the race. So we'll see if drivers here today, if they'll be a little bit more tentative at the beginning stages here when everyone is all packed up and try and get themselves organized. I believe Michael is here now. Michael, I mean, tonight's the midway portion of the season. We got 4 more races going on here. Let's talk about the drivers below the cut line. Top 12 in the points, regardless of if they won or not, they're going to be battling for the championship at the conclusion of race number 8. Let's say you're a driver that's about 13th through 20th in the standings. You're mathematically within striking distance. Are you looking maybe just for a solid top 10 here tonight, or are you still looking for that checkered flag, still looking for the max points?
Well, you 100% want the max points, but at the same time is you don't want to risk wrecking and causing yourself to lose out of those points either. So
you're ready when you are. So
it's a crapshoot nonetheless because you don't know what you want to do. But personally, and in my perspective, I would just try to stay up at the front, maybe try to avoid all the wrecks.
Well, we'll see if that's the strategy for the drivers here tonight.
Also, apologies for being late. I was out getting some Andy Fox Late Model Series fries.
You're good. Oh, wow. Did you bring any for me?
Nope, I ate them all. I ate them all before I got here.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to go get my own while we're listening to the starting lineup because these drivers are ready here for driver introductions. And to your point, we'll see if the drivers that we hear towards the top of the leaderboard here in qualifying tonight, if that is going to be their goal to stay at the front. So let's head up there now.
Channel switched.
All right, and we're set here to get the starting lineup for the 4th race of the season here tonight for the Shake and Bake series.
Starting out of poles, 931, Robert Breedlove driving a Firehouse Sub Camaro out of Lancaster, South Carolina.
Starting outside pole, Nate Balser driving the 079, JBL Chevrolet out of Seattle, Washington.
Starting in P3 to number 56 out of Mooresville, North Carolina, your one and only Jeffrey Elliott driving a kickbutt Chevrolet. I just want to give a shout out to all you guys. My father, Chris Elliott. Love you, family. Good luck, everybody.
Starting 4th, Rodney Sullins, Bentonville, Arkansas, driving the number 38 Black Rifle Coffee Rocking Brew Chevrolet Camaro ZL1.
Starting fifth, Greg Lovell from Big Stone Gap, Virginia, driving the number 088 Ford Mustang. Bush car painted by Frank Gibbons. It's a new paint scheme. Thank you, Frank, for the paint. And I'd like to wish all you guys good luck tonight and hope we have a fun race.
Starting sixth, Ken Roberts in the 55, driving the Mountain Dew Chevrolet, painted by Rodney Solons out of West Bend, Wisconsin.
Starting seventh, Chuck McClure out of Moundsville, West Bygod, Virginia, driving the Rodney Solons painted Old Smoky number 17 Camaro.
Starting eighth, Jeff Goodpasser driving the 33 Monster Energy Ford Performance Ford Mustang out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Let's rock and roll.
Starting ninth, Mark Pagley from Gainesville, Georgia, driving the number 28 Ford Motorcraft Mustang, paint by Rodney Solons.
Starting 10th, the Grant Wesley from Princeton, Indiana, driving the number 88 NOS Energy Dodge Challenger, shake and bake.
In 11th, number 43, Bob Dixon from Macon, Georgia.
Starting
Good luck.
12th, the 388 in the new Bush paint scheme, painted by Frank Divins, Big Stone Gap Racing. Just want to give a shout out to my family, especially my wife, Bonnie, everybody that's watching. Thanks, Jeffrey, for what you do. Thanks, Blaine. Just thanks, Seth, for what you do. And appreciate all you guys coming out racing. Good luck.
Starting 13th, Keith Bynum in the 63 Chevrolet Camaro. Just like Talladega Nights, if you ain't first, you last. And hey, Mother, good luck, everybody.
Starting 14th in the number 82 Aqua Adventure Superwash Ford out of Canaan Valley, West Bygod, Virginia, Craig Hagley.
Starting 15th in Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Thank you guys for all y'all do, and thanks, Frank, for the paint scheme.
Starting 16th, 043 from Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Brian Lovell driving the Bush car painted by Frank Divins, representing Big Stone Gap Racing and Wolfpack Racing.
Starting 17th from Brownsburg, Indiana, number 97 Pat McCarsky in the IMSA Plymouth Barracuda. Good luck to all those Virginia drivers in front of me.
Starting 18th in the 23, Doug Hulick from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Shout out to my son Nolan and my daughter Bailey, my wife sleeping it off the double, and shout out to Matt out in California. Hope you enjoy the show.
Starting 19th, Billy Elliser, driving the number 26 Coors Light Chevy.
Starting 20th from Archwell, Pennsylvania, 889 RJ Cabana. Shout out to my wife Crystal and my sons Jack, Luke, and West, and my sister-in-law Holly. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, guys.
Starting in 21st, Mike Mangialardi driving the 029 Ford Mustang out of Federal Way, Washington. Give a shout out to my friends watching at the Rainier Room tonight, and good luck all.
Starting 22nd, Stephen Brandstetter from Ranelette, Oklahoma, driving the 510 Team Doritos, painted by Rodney Solons.
Starting 23rd out of Lewis, Delaware, Greg Palmer, driving a 22 Magnum Trojan Ford Mustang. Good night.
Starting 24th, this is Johnny McNamara driving the number 40 Toyota Camry TRD for J2 Esports, powered by Walmart. Good luck, everyone.
Starting in 25th, Ulises D. Papi Sandoval, driving the 96 San Luisena Express Toyota Camry TRD. A big shout out to the guy that made my pen scheme, Ulises Sandoval, and shout out to the Wrecking Ball team and his leader, Ulises Sandoval. Good luck, everyone.
Starting 26th, the number 60, driving the Amazon VW. Perry Bond, the original. Perry Bond is back, guys. Good luck, everybody.
Starting 27th, Bobby Farrell, Frederica, Delaware, in the Motorcraft Quick Lane Ford Mustang number 7.
Starting 28th in the number 80 Red Bush Dodge. Let's have a good race, guys. Be competitive. Let's have fun.
Starting 29th, the number 24 is Greg McDonald from Sarnia, Ontario.
Starting 30th, the number 66, driving the New York Yankee Chevrolet K.D. Huntsberry from Orrington, Maine. Good luck, guys. Let's have a good race.
Starting 31st, Randy Wall from Huntsville, Alabama, driving the number 21 Crimson Tide Dodge tonight. Driving for Big Stone Gap Racing. Shout out to my sons Christian, Corey, my grandsons Adrian, Asher, and Asa. Roll Tide, roll.
Running 32nd, Javier Negron from Bridgeport, Connecticut, driving the number 4 Toyota Camry, running for Team Poppy Wrecking Ball.
Starting way back in 33rd, Bob Pumpkin Sire driving the City Chevrolet ZL1 Camaro. Shout out to my wife Kelsey. Go Blue.
Starting 34th, Alex Moe, Southern California, 48 Lowe's Chevrolet.
Start number 35, Tom Dixon. Number 45, Chevrolet Batman car painted by Bernie Mobbs. Thank you, bub. From Byron, Georgia. Good luck, guys.
Starting 36, number 3, GM Goodrich Chevrolet, driven by Gary Heisman from Mount Sterling, Kentucky.
Starting 37th from Fenton, Michigan, driving the number 091 Hako Pontiac Trans Am, Sean Dotson. Just want to say good luck to everybody.
The inside of row 20, John Godfrey, 711 LaJoy's Camaro.
Starting 40th, Garland Oaks from Martinsville, Virginia, driving the number 67 Gold Peak T Toyota Camry.
Starting 42nd, Brian Rosen, Heath, Texas, from the back 40. Thanks, Rodney Solons, for the paints.
That's it there. And I see Bob Sire here twice, but that's it there, Mr. Sepko.
All right, so as you heard, 41 drivers rolling off the grid here tonight. Should be a good one to mark the midway portion of the regular season. Best of luck, everybody. Looking forward to the show. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving in preparation for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it.
Channel switched. Buddy was moved
All
to
right,
your
so these
channel.
drivers, they'll probably take a couple of minutes here for some happy hour, get acquainted with where their pit stalls are. Big field here tonight again, Michael. We keep saying this every time we broadcast the Talladega Nights series. They obviously bring in big fields, which means a lot of points are available on the table. So you talked about drivers getting to the front, keeping their track position. Now, what about those guys that didn't get the benefit of qualifying here tonight? How patient can you be with all those cars up ahead of you?
Well, it's very tough because that's a lot of cars. Plus, these cars love to go 3 wide. Believe me, we know this because we witnessed it firsthand. And so, yeah, you want to. If you're in the back, you definitely want to stay in the back until. I want to say after the final pit stop, if you can, depending on if it's under green or not. So it's a lot of factors that can dictate where you stay at this racetrack.
It's going to be very interesting to see what occurs tonight. I believe it was Thursday night over on Tarnation TV. Blaine Donlin broadcasting the I'm on Fire series here for Talladega Nights, and it came down to fuel strategy. I believe 4 drivers ran out of fuel on the final lap. The driver that was running 5th going into turn 2 on the final lap came away with the victory by the time they got back to the start-finish line. So we may be in for a treat here tonight, maybe a little bit more of the same. Now, mentioned about the 3 drivers that have formally won this season, Rodney Sullins, Ken Roberts, and Chuck McClure. What do you think? Odds certainly aren't in their favor, but what do you think of one of those guys maybe doubling down, being a 2-time winner, or do you think we're going to see a 4th different winner in 4 races?
Well, Seth, knowing our luck in Talladega races, I think we're going to see a 4th different winner today.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. The point standings coming into tonight, again, we've talked about this, but we'll reiterate it. It's not a win-in-your-in system here tonight. You gain a lot of points, including 20 bonus points if you win the race. So it's huge in terms of moving your way up through the point standings, but it doesn't lock you into the playoffs. It is the top 12 in overall points by the time we reach the checkered flag of race 8. That will be moving on to the playoffs. Grant Wesley is currently your points leader. He holds an 18-point gap back to former winner on the season, Ken Roberts. Alex Moe, who you heard it again here tonight, he's a guy that seems to always start at the back, but kind of talking on the point line that you were talking about patience and when to move your way to the front. He seems to know how to do that. He's third in overall points coming into tonight. He is 21 points behind the points leader. Rodney Sullins, who won the season opener, we mentioned he missed last time out's race, had to take provisional, so he lost the points lead. He's fourth in overall points, 26 points back. Sean Dotson, he's fifth in overall standings, currently 32 points out. Steven Brandstetter, he's sixth in overall points, a total of 42 points back. There's a tie for seventh place between Brian Lovell and Bobby Farrell. Those two are a total of 68 points back. Another tie for the ninth position between Graham McDonald and Greg Lovell. They are a total of 71 points out. John Godfrey currently is in 11th. He is a total of 81 points out, and then a total of 87 points back in the final transfer position. If the season were to end right now, the regular season that it would be Ulysses Sandoval. He currently holds a total of 9 points over Chuck McClure, last time out's winner, the first driver out. But I look at this grid here, Michael, and there's a lot of drivers. We've seen them be able to get to the front, run at the front, stay at the front. Below that cut line, Chuck McClure, Kelly Causey, Craig Hagley, Keith Bynum, Nate Balser. So we could very easily see a driver that's inside the playoffs right now fall below the cut line, and multiple drivers below the cut line move up above that cut line in preparation for the home stretch of the regular season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point of this type of racing here. You never know what's going to happen.
All right, so we're going to wait here. Should be pretty close to these drivers gridding up in preparation for tonight's event. You saw right there the 66 of Ken Huntsbury, KD Huntsbury. I didn't realize he is a fellow maniac. Do you even know what a maniac is, sir?
Nope.
That's a person that is either born or lives in Maine.
Huh.
We are called that, and we wear it proudly.
I hate you.
Yours truly was born in Maine. That's why I'm able to say that. Well, we know, obviously, that the Big Stone Gap drivers work well together. Going to be pretty easy to pick them out in the field tonight. Sound like all of them, if not the majority of them, with the Busch Beer sponsorship. I believe we've got 3 of the Wrecking Ball teammates in the field tonight. One is conspicuously missing here, and I know you're probably disappointed about that, Michael, because that running thing of Joshua Mercurio not able to hot pit. Well,
I know.
He's
sad
not here. Now,
No,
we
I'm
did
sad.
run...
I'm sad because he's not here.
We did run a super speedway race on Tuesday night, and he told you that he would show you that he could hot pit. I don't know if he actually did or not.
No, he said he did, but I never witnessed
You never saw it. Never witnessed it.
I never witnessed it with my own eyes.
If Michael doesn't witness it, it doesn't count. So maybe next week we'll see if the 99 is able to hot pit. I believe this is the second pole on the season for Robert Breedlove. Now, Breedlove, I think, took 2 provisionals to start out the season, so obviously he's quite a bit down in points, trying to work his way up to the top 12 in the standings. Yes, he took 2 provisionals, so he is 44th in points, but in back-to-back weeks, I believe last time out was when he got the first pole of the season, and now with his second pole, we'll see if that's going to help him to be able to climb his way up. You know, there's a lot of drivers that have taken provisionals in the first 1 or 2 races of the season, and while it may seem impossible to a driver or to a spectator looking at the point standings, it is mathematically possible that even drivers down below the top 35, if they hit a good enough streak in these final 5 races, maybe a win or 2, they can easily make their way up into the top 12, and the reason for that being is the point standings are actually still quite close. They use the classic point system, which would be 185 points for the race winner. I think it goes to 175, 170, 165, something like that I'm not 100% familiar with the classic point system down in the lower numbers, but you look right now, if you look from first place down through 35th, 36th, there's only 220 points separation. And I mentioned that a race winner gets 185 points. So very easy to be able to work your way up from the points deficit into a playoff position, especially with how much of the regular season schedule we have left.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is what's gonna make it fun to watch. Keeping all that in mind as well.
While we're waiting for these drivers, looks like we got a little less than a minute left here in happy hour. Let's bring you up to speed on what's going to be on tap next week. Thursday night, we're going to be starting off the final round of the playoffs, the first of 2 races in the third and final round for Season 60 of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. Our final 4 have been determined, and only one in the conclusion of about 2 weeks' time will emerge as champion. That'll be next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The green flag will fly, and then next Saturday night, we'll be right back here at Talladega Nights Super Speedway, heading into the second half of the regular season for race number 5 of Season 5 of the Shake and Bake Series. Also, tentatively, I know that it is currently penciled in. It's not 100% confirmed yet, but it's about 95% confirmed. On December the 21st, Thursday, there will be a special team race for the Talladega Nights series here on FRN, and the theme is going to be based around painters. You've heard in the driver introductions for the starting lineups these 4 weeks that we've been broadcasting, drivers shouting out those that have painted their paint schemes, Frank Divins and Rodney Sullins. Well, going to be an opportunity for drivers to run team cars painted by those painters, and going to be a bit of a tribute to the drivers that work so hard and diligently on the paint schemes that you see here on the racetrack here in Talladega Nights. So there will be more confirmation probably next Saturday night as to whether that is taking place or not, but it pretty much is going to happen, so be sure to join us on Thursday, December 21st here on the Flatout Racing Network. As I saw Garland Oaks mugging for the camera there, doing some burnouts in the infield grass. The drivers know where the cameras are.
Do they, though?
They do. I've seen a lot of times where a driver will pull down right around where the camera's at, and they'll do some burnouts or something. Jeff Supta's a guy that always seems to do that whenever we do some of the RTG races that he participates in. All right, so you see them getting ready to grid up here, 41 cars strong. All 3 of our former winners going to be starting up here towards the front of the field. Rodney Sullins 4th, Ken Roberts in 6th, and Chuck McClure in 7th. So we will see if they can get their second win on the season. Another front row start for Nate Balser in the 079. Jeffrey Elliott, who in back-to-back weeks, races 2 and 3, started on the front row, just misses out on the front row here this week, but another podium start for him, as you hear the command to fire him up. And they'll roll off pit road behind the splash and go Dodge Charger pace car. They'll have about 2.66 miles to think about it before the flagman will turn them loose and put them under the green flag.
It'll be very interesting to watch this big group of cars here, Seth. You know, we always stress about 1 point per position. There's a lot of points out there.
And it's not even 1 point per position in this series with the classic NASCAR point system. So you pick up a position, you might be picking up anywhere from 3 to 5 points.
There you go. One bad day from somebody in the top in the points, and kablam, which is also a great Nickelodeon show. Yes, I did just do a segue into a Nickelodeon show.
Well, the reason I didn't respond is I've not only never watched it, I've never heard of it. What was Kablam?
Oh, Kablam was like a, oh gosh, it was a Nickelodeon show that had a bunch of different sub shows on it, but it was told like a comic book almost.
Oh.
You have to like watch one episode of it to understand really what it is.
I might look into that because
I
I've
have it on-
honestly
I
never
have it
heard
on
of that
Paramount.
before.
I have it on Paramount, so when one of these days we're both free not doing nothing, we'll show you an episode. Do you ever used to watch all that? Or no, you never watched.
Heard of it, but never saw it.
Okay. Gotta show you the classic, all that.
Basically, when I got the opportunity to start watching Nickelodeon, it was Nick's Declassified School Survival Guide was like the main thing that always seemed to be on.
Which they also have on Paramount Plus.
Oh, do they?
Not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored, no. But if you want to, Paramount, we're here. No, just kidding. But no, not just kidding.
No, we're not really kidding.
We're not really kidding. All right, well, pace car makes its way off onto pit road. And Robert Breedlove has the field in hand. So for another time here we got a car going through the grass there. That was Graham McDonald, I think. Man, completely in the view of our camera space. But here we go. Heading down through the Tri-Oval, and race number 4 of Season 5 of the Shake and Bake Series is green.
Imagine getting Paramount to sponsor us, and then like Flatout Racing Network gets streamed on Paramount Plus as well as YouTube.
You know what we would probably have to do? We would probably have to find like an important moment of the race and call it the Paramount moment of the race.
You know what? I'm actually not even mad at that comment.
I'm not either. Middle line. Look at that. I don't know if something didn't happen like around 6th, 7th on that inside line, but that middle line got the run down the back straightaway, and Balser almost had Breedlove cleared.
But Seth, how do we know nothing happened if nothing happened?
Well, you could see the energy dissipate, so you can assume something happened. It's Talladega, Michael. It's Talladega Nights. It's super speedway racing. Something always happens. Even when you don't see it, something is happening.
Yeah.
Looks like Jeff Goodpaster, that Monster Energy Ford Mustang, getting out of Dodge. Even though he's not a Dodge, he's a Ford, as I just established. So he's getting out of Ford.
What's happening to us? Couple of cars falling at the very rear of the field. Graham McDonald back here.
Looked like that was Johnny McNamara in the 40 that also dropped back.
Yep.
That patience you were talking about, drivers not liking where they're at.
Why
deciding,
is it so weird
you know what, I'm
to see
throwing up my hands, throwing out the parachute. I'm going to the back where it's safe.
Why is it weird to see a 7 on a motorcraft scheme?
Well,
not that I'm knocking the paint scheme or anything. It's just very weird to see a number other than 21 on a motorcraft scheme.
Here's the thing, though. It's weird for you, not so weird for me, because I've raced with Bobby Farrell here for the last few months, and I'm used to seeing the number 7 with the Ricky Rudd different paint schemes. He's done the motorcraft. He's also done the U.S. Air Force.
I'll change for lead up at the front here. The middle lane has gotten the preferred push. Now Nate Balzer takes the lead over with the 38. Rodney Sullins right behind him.
Yep, got a couple of the former winners lined up on that outside line. Sullins second in line, and then Ken Roberts third in line.
Grant Wesley up here too.
Yeah, your top 2 in points are actually nose to tail right there. Ken Roberts is second in overall points, and Wesley the points leader on his back bumper. Not anymore. Shades to the bottom in front of Breedlove, and now he'll try and lead the inside lane. Got Frank Divins in our chat here, says he sees a lot of Busch cars. Yes, indeed. A couple of them actually making their way up here towards the front right now. 088 of Greg Lovell, the 388 of Dan Lovell. They've cracked the top 10. Brian Lovell is just on the outside of the top 10 looking in. All making forward progress here. Not certain what happened with Graham McDonald at the very beginning. Whoa, we got a wreck. Mark Paglia around and back up into traffic through the Tri-Oval.
Oh, that is a big wreck.
Big wreck, but I'll be honest, doesn't look like a lot of heavy contact.
No, I don't see a lot of damaged cars.
Saw a lot more spinning than I saw wrecking. Well, normally at Talladega and Daytona, we call it the big one. I think we could call that the big slide, because I don't think I saw anybody really take any hard shot from car into car or from car into wall. A lot of drivers checking up to avoid when Pagli was going to come back up the racetrack, but it looked like for the most part anybody that wrecked just simply spun. And they were 3 wide through the middle of the tri-oval. It might have been the 82 of Craig Hagley that I saw start to get out of shape. Maybe a bad bump. We'll find out here in a minute as we drop back to take a look at a replay. This is a huge break for the 24 of Graham McDonald and the 40 of Johnny McNamara, who had both fallen over 15 seconds, almost 20 seconds behind the race leaders. So they'll be able to catch back up. Here's a look at it through the tri-oval. Oh, a bad bump. Actually, that was Pat McCarskey. And he got... Was that the 889 of RJ Cabana, potentially?
Cole Cabana?
You know, I'm not going to lie. That's what jumped into my mind first, too, when I saw the last name Cabana. Wrestling has ruined us.
Yes, it has.
Just picture the CM Punk. Hi, Cole Cabana. How you doing? Here's a look at it again. Yep, that is the 889. The Mountain Dew Chevrolet in the middle there that got a bad bump from Pat McCarskey. There you see Gary Heiser, Bob Sire, Ulysses Sandoval, Billy Elser, John Godfrey, all spinning around, but nobody taking a big hit. So all should be able to continue, and I would assume still be up to speed. I think Mike Mangialardi got involved in this. See if we can pick out any other drivers that got bits and pieces of this wreck. Yeah, you cannot bump in the tri-oval. Boy, Bob Dixon just barely avoided. Jeff Goodpaster, who had fallen to the back, he got a piece of it, as did Ken Huntsbury. Sean Dotson going to slowly make his way through there. Javier Negron was in it. Alex Moe came to a stop, let everything settle out. There's the 40 of Johnny McNamara and the 24 of Graham McDonald. Very happy to see that incident up ahead, allowing them to catch back up to the field. Well, pits were open and not everybody elected to come to pit road in the early going here.
Which is strange, too, because usually you kind of feel like you want to top off on gas.
Yeah, especially pit under yellow rather than under a later green flag run, right?
The second time around, looks like some of them are going to come in now. Brian Rawson, got to say, I love that Mark Martin throwback scheme.
Pat McCarskey, I think I saw in the 97 came down.
Yeah, there's a lot of backup. There's a lot of cars from the back coming in, topping off as well.
I think Bob Sire in the 27 also came to pit road, so it looks like 5 drivers as we get the 1 to green indication did not come to pit road here under this caution period. Robert Breedlove, Craig Hagley, Jeffrey Elliott, Keith Bynum, and Denny Carroll, who will be our top 5. Rodney Sullins, who was the first one down and away from pit road under the first lap of caution, will restart in 6th. Ken Roberts will be 7th. Grant Wesley 8th. Dan Lovell and Nate Balser are going to complete the top 10. First caution of the night on lap number 5, but at this point in time, nobody back in the garage area, no extended stays on pit road. Looks like all 40 drivers will be on the lead lap and potentially up to speed when we go back green. I thought there were 41 drivers that were scheduled to take the green flag tonight. Maybe either I miscalculated or a driver elected not to start the race. But as of right now, we've got 40 drivers on the grid.
Well, as we're getting ready for the restart here, Seth, what do you think after the first caution? Well, probably about another lap. what do you think's going to happen? Like, what would the strategy be now? We already had a wreck, so do you try to avoid the middle of the pack, or do you try to kind of just stay where you're at?
That's a good question because it looked rather orderly, right? All the way through the field there at the initial start of this race. It was just a bad bump in the tri-oval that led to that caution coming out. So with that being said, I'm not certain if we're going to go back to that again as the lights came back on the pace car. Not sure what the reason is for that. So we got one more lap of pacing here. But yeah, normally when the green flag drops to start a race, adrenaline's at an all-time high, and so drivers get anxious with the double file formations to try and make the 3-wide moves. That was not the case. Any 3-wide we really saw at the front were drivers bailing out and dropping to the back. Now that they've got this caution under them, I don't know if we go back to the same type of thing of double wide, room being given, somewhat spaced out, or if now they got a little bit more comfortable and they'll be thinking, you know, I think I can maybe make that 3-wide work now. So we'll have to wait and see. You got some fast cars that have lost a bit of track position around the middle of your top 10, like Sullins and Roberts and Wesley. You got to think they're going to be pretty aggressive to try and get that track position back. I know it's only 4 or 5 positions, but 4 or 5 positions at a super speedway are harder to get than one might think.
Yeah, yes they are.
That extra lap of caution allowed drivers towards the rear of the field to come back down pit road again and top off. Looks like Goodpaster, Alex Moe, Brian Rawson, Johnny McNamara, Pat McCarsky amongst those. So for the top 5, based on what we know for the fuel window, they'll probably be able to go to probably lap 21, 22 if they were able to save quite a bit here under these pace laps. From Rodney Sullins on back to around 35th Bob Sire, they should be able to go somewhere around to lap 30. And then those drivers that just came down pit road here at the 1 to green with the extended lap of caution, they could probably go anywhere from lap 31 to lap 32, maybe lap 33 if they can save a little bit here under this run. So you're going to have some varying strategies if we end up having a long green flag run here and see our first cycle of green flag pit stops.
Well, we'll have to see on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are we to have green flag pit stops?
With the size of this field, I would say probably about a 3. It's possible, but it's a super speedway, so we'll see.
Well, Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, top 4. Getting ready to go back under the green flag. That last lap was 2 minutes, 16 seconds. This time about it was 2 minutes, 13 seconds.
And by the way, for those wondering, Robert Breedlove, when he stayed out here under caution, that was the first lap that your pole sitter led tonight. Remember, he ended up getting beaten on the initial start of this race by the middle line and Nate Balser, so he actually didn't lead the first lap of tonight's race.
We'll see if he can handle it now. Question is, Seth, do you stay to the inside or do you kind of move up? Because I know that when we've raced before, you know, when you know how good the outside lane is, do you move up and just kind of hold position there, or do you again run the risk of a third lane forming?
Yeah, something we've seen here at Talladega Night Super Speedway is all 3 lanes can work. All 3 lanes, if they got the right number, they can make forward progress. So
the right car number?
That's the big question, huh?
The right car number? You said
well,
the right number.
You know, sometimes, if you know, you should do a science of that. Find out what is the most aerodynamic number.
Ooh, second place moves up.
It's Jeffrey Elliott.
Yep, Elliott moves up. Now the leader should have done the same thing.
Kind of hard to do, especially when it's heading into the entrance of a corner, because when you make that move up there to the top side, you get the momentum down the back straightaway, but you actually scrub off about 1 mile per hour or 2 because you're going up the banking through the corner. So you have to be patient and wait for that second place car behind you, in this case Craig Hagley, to get to your back bumper and help you get that momentum moving forward. Let's see who leads this lap. I think it's going to easily be Jeffrey Elliott.
Yep, it's going to very easily be Elliott.
That's going to be Elliott's second lap led here tonight.
Keeping score, are you?
Oh yeah, we got the lap counter here. Yeah, as of right now, 3 laps led for Nate Balser, 4 laps led for Robert Breedlove, 2 for Jeffrey Elliott, 1 for Rodney Sullins.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Statistics over there.
Well, they are stacked up double wide.
Ooh.
You look
Breedlove
back
got
towards
the apron.
You look back towards the rear of the field. That's where they're starting to shade 3 wide, but that's back around the. Oh gracious, what is that? Like 30th, 31st position. Nothing happening for 3 wide up here inside of the top 20.
Breedlove got the apron. That shredded off a lot of speed and momentum, as you see Elliott leading. Well, I thought Elliott led the lap, but I guess they gave it to the 931.
Yes, they did.
But it scrubbed off a lot of speed when you hit the apron. You got to be careful when you go through these corners. Any tap to the apron will kill off any speed that you have.
Makes things very difficult for the second, third place driver on that inside line too, because not only are you scrubbing off speed hitting the apron, but we know when it comes to super speedway racing, the shorter way around the racetrack, usually there is more checkup that takes place going into 1 and 3. So it just exacerbates the problem if you get the apron and scrub off another extra mile per hour or 2. Denny Carroll doing a good job. Whoa, Steven Brandstetter there. Nice save.
Definitely got a little sideways there. This is where patience got to come in. You know, you can race 3 wide, but you got to be careful doing it and not try to rush anything. As Seth, that middle lane is dissolving, and it's turning into that third lane.
Well, you said they can race 3 wide. How about 4 wide? I think they were 4 wide on 2 separate occasions there from the middle of the tri-oval by the time they got over to turn number 1. As
well, we don't talk about
abreast going into 3.
We don't talk about just like we don't talk about Bruno.
Bruno who?
Exactly. Is it bad that the first person that pops into my head when you mentioned Bruno is Bruno San Martino?
Oh, the one for me is Bruno Mars, so we're on entirely different planets.
Mine's wrestling, yours is music.
By the way, I've just been told by our chat, the most aerodynamic number is either the 6 or the 66.
Really?
I'm not sure what the science is behind that, but that's what I've been told.
Well, what about the 99 then?
Well, I mean...
Or what if you do 60?
Well, the thought process, I think, on that is if you look at a 6, the left side of a 6 is like a wall, so the air would go up over it. If you did a 9, it's got the gap down the bottom, so it would actually catch the air like a parachute. So I don't think the 99 would work.
What about 69?
We'll talk about that some other time. Well, single file amongst the top 7 or 8, and then, how about 3 wide, 4 or 5 rows deep back here around the 10th position?
Now this is classic super speedway style racing, where the cars that are double file slow down compared to the cars that are single file, and the cars that are single file will break away a little bit.
See that 38 and 88 up there on the top side? Yep, they were up there on the 3 wide battle for the lead just about 2 laps ago. That third lane completely died out.
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing some more Busch Beer cars working their way to the front. Greg Lovell in the gray 088. Eric Lovell right behind him in the red number 80. I'm assuming that would be the Busch's Red Ale, right? Is that what it's called? Or the Busch's Red Apple?
I don't see the scheme, but yes.
Randy Waugh with a disappear
like
moment
Red
there.
Apple Ale or something.
Something like that, yeah.
It used to be a sponsor for Brad Keselowski.
For Keselowski, yep. Which, if I'm not oh no, he won in the Wicked Red's Apple Ale, didn't he?
At Talladega, I think so. Yeah.
Wait, so that would then that wouldn't be Busch.
Huh?
That wouldn't be Busch then. Wicked Red's Apple Ale was Wicked Orchard or Angry Orchard or something like that, I think.
Well, I don't know my alcohol. Okay?
I don't either, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that wouldn't have been Busch.
I don't even drink beer. I drink actual alcohol.
I drink root beer. Does that count?
No.
I could take a drink of root beer right now. Not sponsored by Barks either, but it's delicious.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm drinking Coca-Cola. Not sponsored either.
I got a Coca-Cola can beside me, so I'm partly there with you.
Got like 4. Just staring at me in the face right now.
You ever had a staring contest with a Coke can?
You'd never win.
I was going to say, have you ever won?
Yes, yes, I have. Have you won? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember, and the can wouldn't tell me.
The points are made up of the... The points don't matter.
Got a car lagging back there. That's John Godfrey in the 7-Eleven. Of course, you would go back to that. But it looks like he's losing the draft.
Well, he probably checked up a little bit, and then by the time he got back on the gas, wasn't quick enough and might have just kind of lost a little bit of the draft there. So hope that he's able to suck up a little bit to the back end of this pack.
With him double wide, he should be able to. Ken Roberts.
Well, then again, he might also be in the very safest spot so far on this racetrack.
Yeah, that's true. That was Ken's second lap lead of the night as he edges out Robert Breedlove for the race lead. Whoa, a lot of movement back there. Gary Heiser in the GM Goodwrench Intimidator paint scheme. He was out of shape off of turn 2. Looked like some cars were scattering left and right to avoid him. It's kind of broken the field up there, too.
Some of those cars just kind of almost brushed the wall coming out of these turns.
Fourth car on that outside line. That's going to take a little bit of getting used to. I'm not used to seeing Greg Palmer in a Ford. Normally, we see him in a Chevrolet in the number 22. Car looks somewhat similar to Joey Logano Hertz machine in a way. So I know that'd be something you'd appreciate, being a Logano fan.
Yeah. Other than the number font. But I'm not that picky.
Ken Roberts.
Who am I kidding? I'm definitely not picky.
Jump into the inside there. That leaves the top side open for Chuck McClure. So our two most recent race winners on the season going to be side by side. Coming to the start-finish line here. Who's going to get it? Oh, it's close, but I think Roberts.
McClure.
You're going
tied.
McClure? I'm going Roberts. I think it was Roberts. Scoring says it was Roberts. Let's wait and see what they say the interval was.
0.001.
Wow.
Oh, big wreck. Big wreck in the back.
That's Tom Dixon up and over off of turn 2 onto his roof. Steven Brandstetter, Gary Heiser. Oh, the 45 got back on his wheels. I don't know how he got back on his wheels, unless maybe the counter banking there off of 2 and he held the brakes. It flipped him back over. That's a lot of damage on the Mercedes of Steven Brandstetter. Front and back. The Doritos bag is crushed. There's chip dust all over 3 and 4. Shall I continue?
No, you shouldn't.
Gary Heiser, I think Gary Heiser might have actually been upside down as well, because he's got roof damage. Either that or he got completely squeezed into the outside wall. Sometimes that can give a car roof damage as well. But, well, we got away with the big slide back on lap 5. We did not get away with unscathed drivers in this one. Some pretty hard hits taken. As we'll go back, take a look at a replay. You saw it breaking out there, Michael, around mid-pack.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if we can find who it began with.
Next time I see a wreck happen that you don't see, I'm gonna be like DW. Oh, trouble, trouble, turn 2.
We got trouble, Steve. We got Steve trouble.
No, I'm gonna be Rick Allen. Problems.
Let's see. Looks like it might have started with the 510. Oh, yeah, there was a checkup on the inside line. I think it started with Nate Balser and Graham McDonald. And then, yep, the 3 was definitely up and over, as was the 510. And you saw there on the right side of your screen in the background, the 45. 40 of Johnny McNamara on the bottom of your screen, the Walmart Toyota. Watch this again as we go to another camera view, and watch the 079 and the 24 on the inside line here. Watch the checkup right there. Ellisler gets punted to the inside, and they just couldn't check up enough further back. Look at the wild ride there, and then look at the grip flip for the 45 of Tom Dixon as he comes sliding up on our turn 2 camera, and right here holds the brakes. Car overcorrects itself back onto its wheels, and he is able to drive away in the Batmobile Chevrolet.
Now the question is, how much will it be up to speed?
Right, how much damage did he sustain? One driver that sustained terminal damage would be the 3 of Gary Heiser. He has taken his car back behind the wall, so he's going to get credited for 40th. Looks like Steven Brandstetter has come back out onto the racetrack. He will try to continue. Jury is still out on the 45 of Tom Dixon. A couple of drivers electing to stay out here under this yellow flag. Greg Lovell, Bob Sire, Brian Ross, and Mike Mangialardi. We may see them make the dive onto pit road here under the second lap of pacing. Greg Lovell getting his first lap lead of the night. 16 points ahead of 12th in the standings cut line, so every point or few points you can get definitely matters, even this early in the season. And should turn the race lead over as these 4 will come to pit road to the 55 of Ken Roberts. So a third of the way through tonight's race here. Race number 4 of Season 5 of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series. Should be getting the 1 to green indication probably the next time around, so we're going to step aside for a quick FRN race break. Actually, I think the lights... Nope, the lights are still on.
Yep, lights are still on.
All right, so we will step aside for a quick FRN race break. We'll be back here once these drivers get the 1 to green signal. Don't go anywhere. Coverage from Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series continues right after this.
We've got to stop doing
We welcome you back here to Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series, race number 4. Lap
Stop
24.
hogging all the pizza.
Well, you ate all the Andy Fox Late Model Series fries, so I feel no remorse.
Yeah, that's such a throwback.
It really is. It is definitely a throwback.
No one, I don't think anybody.
No
in our
one will
chat
have
really
a
gets
clue
it.
what
Nobody
that
will
is,
have a
but it was
clue what we're
great
talking
times
about.
in the NR community
Mm-hmm.
and our offline community. Well, no, online. Ralph Mason, he ran Andy Fox Late Model Series car in High Grip Records series.
And then randomly disappeared off the face of the planet.
He did. I miss him. Ralph, if you're out there, we miss you.
He probably just did pull a Charles Jackson, got a life.
Well, at least we know Charles still exists.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that's true.
Sometimes he'll post stuff. Ralph Mason, nothing. Green flag back in the air. Lap 25 goes on the board.
You know what's funny is I just feel like one day just messaging Charles Jackson and just message him the TeamSpeak server, just be like, yo, bro, if you pop in right now, everybody would go nuts.
Bring him back to the NR online racing community.
I don't think
for nostalgia's sake, we need a I got lack in the chat. That was Charles Jackson's indication that he got a black flag, for those that are wondering.
I think that, honestly, Danny and a couple others, I think, probably ran him off of NR, to be completely honest.
I don't know.
I mean, we were big time, like, we were always playing around, but some of us were more serious than others.
Yeah, true.
Never forget the time that Danny called his house in the middle of the night.
We have video footage of this if anybody would like to see it. Anyway, Ken Roberts, there's a race going on, by the way.
Sorry, I got stuck in my nostalgia point.
You did. You were taking some trips down memory lane, sir. Ken Roberts edged ahead of Chuck McClure there for that lap. Still pretty dead even between those two, as Rodney Sullins is pushing the 55. That's Brian Lovell on the top side, pushing the 17. By the way, we got some clarification. Thank you to Mr. Frank Divens. Apparently, the number 80 is the Busch Light Apple car, which was it looks like, there it is. It was Harvick's 2020 All-Star Bristol scheme.
Oh, somebody hit the wall back there, and I'm so surprised they didn't get it. It was the leader of the third lane back there. I think
Mark
that might have
Paglia?
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get turned with how close these drivers race.
He's got Brian Rawson back there, a couple of Mustangs trying to lead that third groove.
Oh, man. Ooh, excuse me.
Is that Graham McDonald I just saw right there? Making the move up there to the third lane? Yes, it is. Remember, Graham had some kind of issue at the initial start, was sliding through the infield grass and subsequently lost the lead pack. Caught the caution on lap 5, caught back up to the field, and he's making forward progress here. The last time by, the 24 was scored in 17th, and I think he'll be up at least inside the top 15, maybe knocking on the door of the top 10 this time by.
The middle lane's always strong, but that third lane coming could very well break up that middle lane's momentum.
Yep, and you saw right there, that middle lane saw it.
Look who's leading that top lane.
Grant Wesley. He's got Greg Palmer with him. McClure couldn't get up in front of the 88, so he comes back down to the inside. Now Brian Lovell looks around and said, where'd all my drafting help go? He's stuck in the middle.
Did you see just the push that they got?
So the best in the business when it comes to lining up the bumpers, keeping the draft and the momentum moving forward. Chuck McClure made a good decision when he stayed down to the bottom of the racetrack, though he could have gotten stuck in the sucker hole too. But for the moment, he's still out in front, clear of both the inside and now middle line. There's still a third line back there trying to get something done. Brian Rawson, Jeff Goodpaster, and I think that's the 60 of Perry Bond up there. Yeah, one of the Team Amazon cars. Remember I mentioned to you about Thursday night, where the top 4 ran out of fuel on the final lap. They were all Team Amazon cars. I think Perry was one of them. Oh, John Godfrey! Oh, he's sliding! Sliding back there towards the inside pit wall. He's going to hit it.
As long as he stays below there,
Yep,
it's not going to be a yellow.
You see the green lights there on the side of the wall there in the tri-oval, still green.
Got it back going.
I don't know if there was contact or if he just got loose, but he tried to save it, then it snapped around on him, and he clipped the inside pit wall there at pit road entry with, it looked like, the right rear. Oh, and now we got another wreck. That's Nate Balser catching air. Doug Hewlick around further up in the field, and still the green flag's out. Now the caution. Now the yellow flag is out. There's more open turn 3. That's why.
Garland
Gosh.
Garland Oaks got flipped over.
Yes, he
and
did.
everyone's just coming to a stop.
Greg Lovell is sideways in front of the field there on the banking. He makes contact with Bob Dixon. Boy, there was a lot happening there in a long portion of the racetrack. That started about middle of the back straightaway and didn't end until we got over to the entrance, almost the middle of 3 and 4. 23 of Doug Hewlick. Might have some worn tires, so trying to nurse that thing back to pit road. As the race leader, Chuck McClure, waiting on the pace car to head on by and pick them up on the back straightaway. Well, we got the time. Let's go back and look at everything that transpired during that run. Let's start first with the 7-11 of John Godfrey. Let's see if there was contact or if he just got out of shape. He's going to run up on the 43 of Bob Dixon. Oh, little bumper grab. As the 43 was coming down, the 7-11 got to his bumper. Kind of grabbed the 7-11 down towards the inside of turn 4, and as he corrected it back, it snapped around on him. You saw that slight contact with the right rear. You can see there is some damage around the rear deck lid and the back bumper. He'll be able to have the opportunity here under this yellow flag to get that repaired. And then, next incident, I believe, is going to start with the 079 of Nate Balser and the 96, I do believe, of Ulysses Sandoval. They're in the middle of the pack here. And looks like maybe bumper grab again. That might have been RJ Cabana. That bumper grabbed the front of the 079 and nowhere for Ulysses to go. And I think further up it was actually Cabana that got out of shape,
Colt,
causing the wreck in turn 3. Yes, Colt Cabana. RJ Colt Cabana. I also, for some reason, because I'm an old person, every time I hear Cabana, I think of the Copacabana.
You would.
I would. Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl. Do you know that? Oh, little checkup actually took place there. You see that? From our backstretch cam, Mark Paglia checked up, and Balser, I guess, wasn't ready for it. So not bumper grab. It looked like bumper grab from our first camera angle there, with the middle car shading down, but not the case. And then let's see what caused the incident further over into turn 3, because this was further up in the field than the incident we just showed you. I think Doug Hewlick in the 23 was the one that went around, and oh, he brushes the wall a little bit there with all the movement up front. Gets tapped from behind by Graham McDonald, and then you've got Brian Rawson around. There's the 889 of Cabana. I think we had a car either up and over or almost up and over. It might have been the 388 of Dan Lovell. He, I think, almost grip flipped. Nope, he actually did go over. Oh, boy. Yeah, track's completely blocked up. Oh, it's a Lovell sandwich. Brian, Eric, and
Wow.
Dan.
That's not what I was expecting you to say.
Well, it was all 3 of them. And then Greg Lovell goes around there with the 43 of Bob Dixon. Look a little further up here at the 043.
a lot of things happening all at once here.
Brian Lovell comes up, clips Brian Rawson. There's where Graham McDonald gets involved as he gets popped up into the air with the front and then barrel rolls a time or two. Javier Negron, I believe, got a piece. Billy Elliser in the 26, I think, also might have gotten a slight bit of that. However, out of all that, does not look like anyone went back behind the wall, at least at this point in time. The only driver currently out of this race is Gary Heiser. And Bob Sire stays out. He'll get himself a lap led.
Seems like a lot of cars did.
Double checking here. No, I think Sire's the only one that has stayed out. McClure, Sullins, Breedlove, they were all on pit road. Oh, well. Well, Jeffrey Elliott, Perry Bond, Bobby Farrell, I think they played some kind of strategy. I don't know if maybe they went with less fuel on this pit stop. I'm not sure. But it looks like they did gain some track position.
A couple of them now coming down the last minute or so.
Bob Sire coming into this one in 42nd in points. 152 points below the 12th in the standings cut line. I don't remember off the top of my head with the old classic NASCAR system how many drivers, or how many points you get for a lap led. I think it's 5.
I believe in the old school ways it used to be 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, means just as much, if not more, to lead a lap here with that classic point system. Lights are out atop the pace cars, so the way they'll line up here, your top 10 look like this. Chuck McClure and Ronnie Sullins, the front row. Robert Breedlove and Jeffrey Elliott in row 2. Row 3 will be Perry Bond and Bobby Farrell. Keith Bynum and Randy Waugh.
Luigi.
There it is. I waited for the pause because I knew you were going to say it. There, row 4, Craig Hagley and Graham McDonald are going to be the completion of the top 10. Garland Oaks, even though he had that barrel roll that we saw there, he's going to restart 11th. We'll see if the 67's up to speed or not. He'll have his teammate Javier Negron to his outside in 12th. Brian Rawson, Mike Mangialardi, and Steven Brandstetter look like they're going to be the top 15 when we go back green flag racing. Working our third caution of the evening. 39 drivers running, all 39 on the lead lap. The only driver back in the garage area, Gary Heiser, and bless you, sir.
Thank you.
More than halfway home here tonight. Green flag will come back out with 32 laps to go here. Bless you again.
I tried to mute myself, I didn't get to it.
No, you're good. We've all sneezed.
It's not professional.
No, I'd say probably it's less professional to yawn than it is to sneeze. Everybody needs to sneeze. And sometimes they creep up on you. Well, our front row, drivers that have already taken a checkered flag this season. Chuck McClure 2 weeks ago in the last race run. Rodney Sullins in the season opener. Green flag back in the air. Both these drivers would love to be the first multi-time winner on the season. But there's about another 39 drivers behind them that have something to say about that. It's Robert Breedlove trying to formulate an inside line, and Jeffrey Elliott, he wanted to go up 3. Nobody took the bait. 56 is going to start dropping back here. Might be able to find a spot in line right there behind Randy Waugh, right in front of Garland Oaks. Boy, Jeffrey Elliott determined. Got to run there through the tri-oval, back up to the outside of Randy Waugh by his lonesome. A couple of drivers back there willing to go up there with him, but they're a few car lengths back. Ken Huntsbury being one of them, Billy Elliser another. Now Randy Waugh wants to go to the third lane, and Jeffrey Elliott will gladly oblige. See if the number 21 Dodge can get something to happen up in that third lane. Middle line advantage right now, Chuck McClure. Breedlove, he's got him formulated on the bottom, charges back to the inside.
I love when I'm talking and my mic's muted.
That's okay, I can read your lips. I don't know about our audience, but I can.
I was trying to say, look at that 7 car up there, 3rd car in the middle lane.
Bobby Farrell, Motorcraft Ford. You also got the Ford of Craig Hagley up here. A little confused by the rookie stripes on the back of that 82. I don't know if this is his first full-time season in the Shake and Bake series or something, and that's why he's donning the yellow stripes on the back bumper. But I can guarantee you, in terms of super speedway racing, Craig Hagley is not a rookie. Looks like everybody up here in this lead pack is up to speed. Or at least they're able to hang with the pack if they've got somebody behind them. Nobody has broken off, and this is after we saw the 043 and the 80 and the 67 all take some pretty good impacts. Even the 510 of Steven Brandstetter, that Mercedes, he took a pretty good shot with his barrel roll back during the second caution, and he's up to speed here in this pack, so pretty nice to see the fact, even though we've had some pretty heavy contact in our last 2 yellow flags, that everybody, at least for the moment, appears to still be competitive that's still out on the racetrack.
Trying to keep up, single file again on the inside, getting the best run, and where the cars are double file is where they're starting to fall back. Again, going back to the classic style of racing at the super speedway. We're talking late 90s, early 2000s.
And if you're trying to figure out...
Oh, there's a car almost spinning in the back. I think that might have been...
The 40? Looks like McNamara?
Oh, yes. He got so loose it was in the grass.
Nice job keeping that thing pointed in the right direction, hanging on to it. We stay green. Oh, there's a wreck. Dan Lovell up and into the wall. Bob Dixon as well hits the outside wall. Caution's going to wave. Bob Sire collected up in that.
Try to see how that one started.
I think we might have had some family-friendly fire there. I saw the 388 spin up to the outside wall, and I think there might have been contact between him and Greg Lovell. Not certain. As Breedlove will bring us back to the yellow flag.
No, well, okay. The car that was right behind him, Greg Lovell, yeah, I think he bounced off of the car on the inside, and that shot him up into, yeah, he did right there, right up into the 388.
Second straight caution that Dan Lovell has been involved in here tonight. Here's a look at it off turn 2. That car on the bottom you're referring to would be Steven Brandstetter in the 510. Nowhere for Dan Lovell, Tom Dixon, or Bob Sire to go, and then Bob Dixon got clipped at the very end. Let's take another look here and focus the camera on the STP Chevrolet of Bob Dixon. Pretty good shot with the driver's side.
Absolutely.
Back down right in front of Sean Dotson, who does a good job of making his way through yet another incident. Sean's been, I think, behind the last 3 incidents and gotten through without damage, and he also came to a stop back during the big slide fest that we had on the front straightaway, bringing out the first caution, and so he's been able to go a perfect 4 for 4 in getting through all of the wrecks and not getting involved. Of course, the driver that would have Matt McIntyre as his #1 fan, the Pontiac Trans Am.
Pontiac.
I was going to mention before he pit, for those that were wondering about the number 60 Amazon machine that was running in second place, Perry Bond. Yep, that's a Volkswagen. Matter of fact, I believe. As a matter of fact, I believe, I might be wrong, but I believe all of the Team Amazon cars that run in the I'm on Fire series on Thursday nights, I believe they're all Volkswagens. I could be incorrect in that. They might all just be sponsored by Amazon and be different manufacturers, but I think, if I remember correctly, they're all Volkswagens. Well, Graham McDonald, who was the first driver we saw before we went green when he was in the infield grass, as the drivers are making their way through the tri-oval to start tonight's race, is now your race leader. He's got his number 24 Mopar Dodge on the inside of row number 1. Jeffrey Elliott to his outside. Ken Huntsbury now up in the 3rd position. Pat McCarskey in 4th. Then Denny Carroll, Doug Hulick, your top 6. Stephen Brandstetter, Tom Dixon, Bob Sire, and Bob Dixon, your top 10. We'll see if it stays that way here, as pit road will still be open. This time around, we should get the 1 to green. Looks like maybe some of these drivers are shading low as if they're going to come to pit road here at the 1 to green signal. And if they do, we'll wait and see who's actually going to cycle to the front. Nope, 24 I think is staying out, as are most of the top 6. Brandstetter from 7th is going to come down pit lane.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of these cars are coming down pit lane, and you want to make sure you're all topped off and everything here. So Graham McDonald gonna assume the lead, Seth, as we take another lap of pacing here.
And I think a big reason why a number of these drivers have elected to stay out, like the 24, the 66, the 97, the 41, is because everyone in the field, regardless of if you came to pit road when it was first open, or you're some of those drivers that just came to pit road here at the 1 to green, well, it's not even the 1 to green, lights are still on, nobody can make it the rest of the way. Even if we have this upcoming lap of caution and then the next lap of caution at the 1 to green, we will not be going back racing until 22 to go, which is about 2 laps outside of the window to be able to make it the rest of the way. So these drivers electing that the track position is more important. They'll probably have to make an earlier green flag pit stop if it comes down to it. Granted, they probably will have to take on more fuel as well, which could be valuable time spent on pit road, but a bit of a gamble here, and kind of goes back to one of your keys of the race, Michael, where it's somewhat safer up at the front. So if you've got the opportunity to have good track position, maintain it as best you can.
Absolutely.
Pat McCarskey shading down onto the apron there. Wonder if maybe he's coming down pit road and opening up that outside line for Denny Carroll to restart in 4th.
Or he's just running low on fuel and has to run the apron.
Could be too. So I mentioned about the different manufacturers here in this series. We got the Volkswagen, we got the Mercedes. The 27 Bob Sire, the only Cadillac in the field. I don't know, but I think Cadillac, I think sports car. Don't necessarily think stock car. Cadillac's kind of more of the luxury type car in a way. Luxury sports car type of manufacturers, so interesting to see one out here turning laps at Talladega Nights Super Speedway. Alright, there you see it, lights out. Well, we've got the opportunity here, closing in on 20 laps to go. Let's bring you up to speed on your lap leaders here tonight. Robert Breedlove, your pole sitter, has spent the most laps out in front. He's the only driver that has led double digits here tonight. 10 laps led by him. 9 laps led by Chuck McClure. 4 laps out in front for Jeffrey Elliott. 3 for your current race leader, Graham McDonald. Also 3 for Nate Balser. And then 1 lap apiece. Correction. Ken Roberts has actually been out in front for 8 laps. I missed his name. And then 1 lap led apiece for the following drivers: Grant Rustley, Rodney Sullins, Perry Bond, Greg Lovell, and Bob Sire. So all of those drivers would have at least 5 bonus points coming their way for a lap led. Currently, Robert Breedlove has the extra 5 laps for most laps led in the bank, unless somebody is able to top his 10 circuits out in front here in what will be the final 23 laps of tonight's festivities. Again, reminder, next week's broadcasts kick off on Thursday night. It's the 5th playoff race, first race of the round of the Championship 4 for Season 60 of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, green flag will fly. And then next Saturday night, 1 week from tonight, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, we're back here for the second half of the regular season, race number 5 for the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series here on FRN. Here we go, restart number 4 coming up. Graham McDonald and Jeffrey Elliott ready to get us back underway. A lot of stacking up, man.
Stack up on the inside.
I don't know if the... Oh, and we got a big wreck in the back.
All because of the stack.
There were about 5 or 6 cars up in the air, and yeah, I don't know if that was anticipation from the 3rd, 5th, 6th rows trying to push and shove, or maybe the green flag flew late, but whatever the case is, that had some catastrophic results. Javier Negron, that car is totaled.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just see the damage on it right now.
I think the 510 of Steven Brandstetter may have been up and over again. I'm seeing more roof damage on his machine.
Sure at this point. I'm not even sure at this point who started that stack up.
Yeah, same.
Could have been as easy as somebody just anticipating a restart and didn't do it right and then had to slow down.
Jeffrey Elliott looks like he was just edged ahead of Graham McDonald when that caution came out, so he is the leader bringing them back here to the caution. And yeah, let's see. I mean, the stack up began in the first 2 or 3 rows. It started right up at the front and accordioned its way all the way to the back. And like I said, we only caught the tail end of it, but there were about 5 or 6 cars that were actually up and in the air. So let's just go up here to the front real quickly, see where this stack up began. We're going to go into the slow-mo. Watch up towards the front. You can see the 931 anticipating there into the back of the 41. The stack up there with the 38 and the 029. Backing into the 6. There's the 7 backing into the 22, into the 26. And that's where it starts. Billy Elliser into Javier Negron. Both those cars go up into the air. Keith Bynum slides in. Jeff Goodpaster slides in. The 63 and the 510 both catch air.
The way these cars flip so easily, it just makes me think that nobody has roof flaps anymore.
Maybe not. Chuck McClure, who he was at the very back of the field. I think he restarted like 36th or 20th or 37th after leading 9 laps earlier on. He got a piece of it right there. Here's a look at it in real time, focused on the 4 of Javier Negron. Not sure what his sponsor is. It looks like Air Jordan, but I don't think it is Air Jordan. But if it is, this almost kind of looks like an MJ jump shot. No time to react as the 26 comes up the racetrack, and then some other ones back there that I didn't mention. Sean Dotson, Garland Oaks, Alex Moe. They all got little bits and pieces of this. There's Nate Baltzer in the 079. Remember, he lost a ton of track position with his spin on the back straightaway, but he was able to come to a stop to avoid, and, well, they ripped the hood off. It's sitting back in the pit stall of the 4 team, but they're gonna send Javier Negron back out onto the racetrack to try and salvage what he can.
Yeah, I'll say salvage what you can. There's gonna be more wrecks.
As I call it, vulture your way to a better finish.
I say that. Just be happy that they didn't take it behind the wall.
All right, so this upcoming restart will be with less than 20 laps to go, which means it is gamble time for drivers. You could come to pit road now, probably make it the rest of the way, or you could try saving if you're borderline able to make it the rest of the way here under this caution period, and hope that maybe another yellow or two would allow you to save some more. Jeffrey Elliott going to give up the race lead to pit, and Ken Huntsbury is going to stay out to resume the lead. So as all this strategy takes place, closing in on the 20 lap to go mark, we're going to step aside for another quick FRN race break, and we'll be back here for the upcoming restart from Talladega Nights Superspeedway. All right, looks like according to the ticker, it's going to be a total of 18 laps to go. That puts these drivers in the window to make it the rest of the way. The entirety of these pacing laps. All these drivers up at the front, throwing in the clutch, shutting off the engine, saving every precious drop of fuel that they possibly can in the event that this race remains under green to the finish. Grant Wesley. Can't believe I'm saying this. First time he's been out in front here tonight. So we'll have Robert Breedlove to his outside. Ken Roberts up here in third. Mark Paglia in fourth. Rodney Sullins completes the top five. Then Perry Bond, Ulysses Sandoval, Craig Hagley, Garland Oakes, and Brian Rawson. That is the top 10 as we get ready to go back green. Working our fifth caution of the night. 40 drivers started the race. 39 of them still remain, all 39 on the lead lap, including Javier Negron, who's out there without a hood. Certainly not going to be very aerodynamically sound, but he's out there nonetheless. And
You
the
never know
green
what's gonna
flag.
happen.
Yeah, that's right. Green flag back in the air here. Grant Wesley, maybe too good of a jump. Separated himself from Ken Roberts.
Is there such thing as too good of a jump, though?
At a super speedway? Absolutely.
Are you sure?
Yes. I know because I've done it before. Ooh, big bump there from Rodney Summers to Ken Roberts. Got him a little squirrely on the back straightaway. In turn, sends that bump up to the bumper of Grant Wesley. That middle line trying to get formulated back up. And drivers in the middle of the pack deciding we got to go. Can't just sit here and wait. Randy Waugh, Billy Elliser, Doug Kulik, and Greg Palmer up in that third lane right now. But that's all the way back around the 17th position.
Yep, try to inch forward, inch by inch, try to get up there.
Look at the back of the 96, fourth car on that inside line, or lack thereof. Ulysses Sandoval. Car wouldn't win a beauty contest, but apparently it's still up to speed. It's a little shorter in the back, which means it's probably more aerodynamic. But I don't know how you bump draft a car that has no bumper.
I have no idea. Push in the fuel tank, I guess.
That sounds dangerous.
It does.
Looks like maybe the 67 of Garland Oakes might be a little bit off the pace there. He can't draft up to the back of the 96. Remember, he had a barrel roll a couple of cautions ago. Brian Lovell doing all he can to push the 67, but they might have to shuffle him out to be able to close the gap up there. Meanwhile, middle line. They've got a bit of momentum here on the back straightaway. Robert Breedlove's gotten himself up alongside Rodney Sullins for third, almost to the right rear quarter panel of Ken Roberts for second. And still keeping an eye on that third lane back there because things are not well organized on that inside line with the damage on both the 96 and the 67. Really, there's only 3 cars down there, and Wesley, Roberts, and Sullins to fend off the 7 or 8 cars in that middle line.
Top lane always breaks the momentum of that middle lane there, so it'll be interesting to see if the middle line remnants will move up to that third lane. But Seth, right now, not really making that much headway that third lane. Well, at least it looked like it from a different camera angle.
Eric Lovell in the 80, I think, might have brushed the wall there up a turn 2.
And that's going to stifle some momentum there, too.
Yeah, it's going to somewhat slow that third lane.
Got to be careful how high you get in both sense of the word.
Perry Bond shading to the top. In front of
Ooh,
Randy
look how
Waugh. Ooh, man, he
Ooh,
did
he
not
was
get
really
the bumpers
getting
lined up. They had to check up a ton. Robert Breedlove now sees that run coming. He'll move up to the outside line. A lot of blocking going on here. Not aggressive blocking, but certainly at least trying to make sure you get the benefit of the draft. Where is Chuck going? Up the middle, 4 wide. And it's not going to work. They're making contact, and Nate Balser's going to go around. Caution's going to fly yet again.
Well, another yellow. Some,
Caution
Chuck
gonna
McClure
wave. We'll
tried
get
to
a
make it
restart
4
around
wide.
10 to go.
Chuck tried to make it 4 wide, and it just wasn't gonna stick.
Grant Wesley gonna lead him back here to the yellow. There were others involved in that. Like, is that Greg Lovell just made a pit stop? Yeah, it was.
Huh. Avoided the wreck.
I don't know. Either he just pit or maybe he fell out. I don't know.
It's possible.
There's Balser in the 079. Yeah, they're showing the 088 a lap down, so I'm wondering if he fell out of the server. And there's
Definitely
Chuck
might
McClure in
have.
the 17. We'll get the update on the 088 here in a minute. Yes, 088 fell out. Now, granted, I think with the Lucky Dog system, he returned back into the server before the leader took the caution, so I think he would get the free pass. But let's watch this here with Chuck McClure. Dives to the inside of Jeff Goodpaster. He's got DJ Cabana there, John Godfrey clearly in a 4-wide situation. And then 33 gets the wall, bumps the 17 down to the 079. They hit doors a couple of times. Eventually, they both go up into the outside wall, and nowhere for Dan Lovell or John McNamara to be able to go. So that's now, what, 3 of the 6 cautions that the 388 has been involved in. It has not been a good night for Dan Lovell. Let's take another look from the aerial view. I mean, there was definitely a lane there, and McClure probably would have hooked the 33 in the left rear. Right there, that little contact.
Yep. All
Right
it
rear
takes
of Cabana to the left front of McClure.
And that's what all it takes is just slight little bit of contact.
Doesn't
Next
take
thing
much.
you know, next thing you know, you got cars flipping and flying. More cars on pit road set, so this is interesting here.
Looks like Jeffrey Elliott has retired out of the race. We saw this happen.
I'm not sure. Yeah, he does this quite a lot.
Yeah, this
I'm not
happened
sure if it's just
race
he's on
1
a
or race
time limit.
2, where he was running up towards the front for a good portion of the night and then just retired late. So,
I'm not sure if he's on some type of time limit or something or what.
or maybe just stepping out for off-track admin. I don't know. Jeffrey's 38th in points coming into this one.
Yeah, mainly because of.
Well, Javi Negron tried as best he could to salvage something with his wounded race car, but he, in the end, did retire. He'll get credit for 39th. Greg Lovell being a lap down means we'll have that extra lap of caution, so we will definitely be at 10 laps to go, less than 10 to go, when we go back green. And this was the caution that a lot of the race leaders wanted to see, because this is an extra 3-4 laps for them to be able to save fuel. So if they were borderline, maybe right on the number being able to make it, this will certainly get them to the finish.
Well, this might be a good time to take our final commercial break before the end of this race.
Yes, indeed. So stay here with us. Getting ready for what should be a very interesting finish here tonight. And the 4th race of the season. Grant Wesley making a bid of 4 different winners in the first 4 races. But Ken Roberts and Rodney Sullins right behind him. They want to be the first 2-time winner here in Season 5. Coverage continues here from Talladega Nights Super Speedway right after this. Well, Grant Wesley getting ready to put us back under the green flag here tonight in race number 4 of Season 5 of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series is fast approaching the 14 laps led tonight by Robert Breedlove. Wesley about to lead his 13th lap when he brings us back to the green, so that extra 5 bonus point for most laps led is up for grabs. Ken Roberts will be to the outside of Grant on the front row. Rodney Sullins and Denny Carroll going to be row number 2. The 96 of Ulysses Sandoval completes top 5 with Robert Breedlove, the pole sitter, looking to go coast to coast on the outside of row number 3. Then Craig Hagley, Mark Paglia, Randy Watt, and Graham McDonald, the top 10. I'm starting to see some drivers trying to anticipate there. Don't want another stack-up wreck like we had 2 cautions ago, but we got one. Bob Dixon around in the back. Green is still out, though.
Yeah, no others were involved. And it was at the back of the pack.
There was another car that was behind Bob Dixon. Couldn't tell who that was. Maybe the 388 of Dan Lovell, who is just, I don't know, he has not had the lucky horseshoe this evening, that's for sure.
Grant gonna watch that middle lane.
Grant Wesley still looking for that first checkered flag of the season, but he has been anything but consistent. He has been on it in these first 3 races. Subsequently, he's the points leader coming into tonight. I mean, 18 points. That's a pretty good chunk for 3 races in over the next competitor, a former winner on the season in Ken Roberts.
Absolutely. Who, by the way, sits in 3rd place.
Yeah, you've got 3 of your top 4 in overall points on the podium right now. Grant, the points leader. Ken, 2nd in points. Rodney Sullins, 4th. The only one that's missing from the top 4 is Alex Moe in the 48 car, who is right now scored in 19th, at least last time by. Also remember, too, fast approaching is the proverbial point of no return. Greg Lovell did get the free pass, did get his lap added back after he fell out just prior to the throwing of the most recent yellow flag. But lap 62's completion still would be the point of no return, lap car or no lap car. And that is going to be in the next 2.5 laps here. So we'll give the usual disclaimer. If they get to that point of the race, if a caution comes out, if the white flag comes out, whichever flag's going to end the race, we're going to stay up here at the front with the race leaders. We'll watch the race back to the start-finish line. Any necessary replays, we will show them either during the caution period prior to the checkered flag waving or after the checker has waved post-race. 6 to go here at Talladega Nights Super Speedway.
Go file, put up the line a bit in the front here. Nothing changed, but look at the car with no bumper up there. I think that's the 96.
Oh, car on the wall. There we go. McNamara up and over. Paglia's up and over. We're going to get another restart.
We might get either a 2-lap or a 1-lap shootout.
Could be a 1-lap. I think it could be a 1-lap shootout. We'll see. Racing back here to the caution. Look at this.
Seth, nobody's a lap down.
Who wants to be the leader on this final restart? Rodney Sullins, Ken Roberts making moves up there to the top on Grant Wesley. It's not going to work. Wesley's going to hold him off. Sullins, Denny Carroll, Roberts, and Sandoval, I believe, were the top 5 crossing the line. So RJ Cabana going up and over. Looks like he's already taken his car back behind the wall. Mark Paglia was another one I saw up and over on the back straightaway. Big break for Bob Dixon and Dan Lovell, because this catches them back up to the field with a chance to gain more positions in the closing stages, as we'll try and see what started this one. I saw the 889 get out of shape. I don't know if he got a bad bump from behind by Alex Moe, potentially. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. I don't think the bumpers were lined up. Bobby Farrell gets spun. Oh, wow. Bob Sire comes flying into your screen from the right and catches the 33 of Jeff Goodpaster. Oh, Brian Lovell got a hit there. Went straight down towards the inside wall. Be surprised if he didn't make impact there. Yeah, he comes back up the racetrack. Looks like he hit with the back end. Doug Hulick in the 23. Pat McCarskey in the 97. Looks like both of them got involved. Let's take a look at this hit by the 043 of Brian Lovell. That thing shot down to the inside wall very quickly. Right there. Yeah, big hit with the back end of the race car. There's Sire on the right side of your screen. Hulick and McCarskey. There's Paglia. His car barrel rolled all the way down almost to the entrance of turn 3. Here's a look at it again. He's, I think, going to get clipped right there at the same time that Brian Lovell gets sent down to the inside wall. Perry Bond got a piece, as did Sean Dotson. Ooh, Billy Elliser nearly avoids. So does Keith Bynum, just barely squeaking through.
While you're looking at the replay, I will let you know if we are going to go back green. I don't know quite if we are. We're on lap 63, so if we're going to get a 2-lap shootout, the lights would have to go off this time by. And as we were said before, there are no lap down cars.
I don't think the lights will go out this time. I think we're destined for a 1-lap shootout. Which is going to make things interesting because, you know, in real life NASCAR, they talk about how it takes full lap and a half for the cars to get up to full song. Well, it's kind of the same here for these drivers. To be able to generate any kind of a run, to be able to make a bid for the race win, you need a lap or two to be able to get everybody lined up, get generating that momentum. Usually it doesn't really work when you do it just on the one lap, because bear in mind, you're spending about half that lap just trying to get up to speed, trying to get up to full song. Normally, from the super speedway races we've seen in the past, normally 1-lap shootouts favor the race leader. You see lights are still on, so they will probably go out next time by, and it will be a 1-lap shootout here this evening.
Yep, it should definitely be interesting 1-lap shootout here.
Grant Wesley has surpassed Robert Breedlove for most laps led tonight. 19 circuits out in front, eclipsing Breedlove's previous 14. Looking for that first victory on the season. Rodney Selvins, who will be second, looking for his second win on the year. Denny Carroll, looking, I believe this would be for his best finish on the season overall, but he'd love to find victory lane for the first time this season. Ken Roberts, former winner from 3 weeks ago, will line up to his outside. And Ulysses Sandoval in that 96, you mentioned it, that thing's still up to speed, still competitive, despite the fact that we can clearly see the fuel cell back there. The entire back bumper missing on that car. You know, that only seems fitting, though, a car out of an organization known as Team Wrecking Ball.
Right.
Probably had a wrecking ball run into the back of his car.
So it seems like.
He's going to be 5th. Graham McDonald's going to line up his Dodge in 6th. Robert Breedlove still has a chance to go pole to win. He'll be 7th. Mike Mangialardi looks like he's scored in 8th. Brian Rawson right now in 9th. And Randy Waugh
Luigi
is in 10th.
I'm so glad you paused again.
I've gotten to the point now, I give you that pause. All right, so we'll get the lights out this time by 36 drivers still on the racetrack, all 36 on the lead lap. That's why we're going to get this one-lap shootout. 4 drivers will not reach the conclusion after we've had 7 cautions here tonight. RJ Cabana, Jeffrey Elliott, Javier Negron, and Gary Heiser will not reach the conclusion. There you see it, lights out. 1-lap shootout to decide it all here this evening. The final race of the first half of the regular season. All right, Michael, I mentioned about the fact that in these one-lap shootouts, it tends to favor the race leader. Who you got your money on? Do you go in with the 88, or do you see somebody else that could make a last-ditch effort here in this final 2.66 miles?
Now, I've got to give it to Grant. He knows how to get the job done here, so my pick is going to be Grant.
Got to think somebody
What
middle
about you,
portion
huh?
of this top 10. They'll be trying to
who
make
are you
a
gonna
move.
jinx?
Oh my God. Well, when you put it like that, no, I mean, it's going to depend on how good a restart they get, but I like that middle line off of turn 2 on the back straightaway. I like Rodney Sullivan's position. Ken Roberts and Rodney Sullins, those two were lined up on the previous restart. They were able to get formed up a little bit better than the inside line was. Granted,
All
that
I'm
doesn't...
saying is the top 2 aren't going to win. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So good win, 3rd place on back.
You're right.
Well, when it comes to a one-lap shootout, alliances are out the window. The race leader, even the driver on the outside of the front row, they got to make those rear bumpers 2-3 times their normal size to keep everyone at bay. And I guarantee you the back of the field is going to be going crazy, trying to get any positions they possibly can. They know they can't win this race, but if they're running 20th, they want 15th. If they're running 15th, they want 14th. So I would be very surprised if they all make it back here to the checkered flag.
No matter what, the next flag is going to end the race.
That's right. It's kind of the bring home the finish or bring home the steering wheel trying kind of scenario
Bring
here
home
for
the
these
finish?
guys.
Question mark? Did you mean bring home the trophy?
Nope, because only one's going to bring home the trophy. Here we go. Green and white flag displayed at the same time. Grant with a decent jump, half a car length. Opened a distance back to Denny Carroll. They're formed on that outside line. Can Grant clear the 38? They're wrecking in the back.
He has.
Yellow flag is out. Doesn't matter. We're racing back. Denny Carroll, can't tell. He might be clear of the 38 if he wants to try and make a move to the outside. Nope, not quite. They're fanning out 3 wide back there.
There he goes.
Grant goes up to block Denny Carroll. What can Denny do here out of 4? Ulysses Sandoval trying to get a run on the inside. Whoa, almost contact for the lead. There goes Denny Carroll around. Several cars wrecking. It's melee behind Grant Wesley, who's going to bring it across the line for the win. Sullen second. Sandoval's going to get 3rd place. As Grant Wesley, the points leader, will extend that points lead. 4th different winner on the season.
I called it earlier today.
And how about that? We didn't jinx the front row. They finished 1-2. What a wild finish here tonight at Talladega New Super Speedway. You knew with it being a one-lap shootout, it was going to be hectic. They were wrecking at the back of the pack in the first half of the lap, and then they were wrecking right up at the front of the field around 2nd place. Through the trial was Grant Wesley. Whoa, look at that! You ever seen a burn over, I guess we'll call it? That was a burnout and a blowover.
We almost did.
The burn over. Well, NOS is an energy drink, but there's also nitrous known as NOS, and the 88 definitely had that here tonight. Grant's obviously been the most consistent driver on the season. He wouldn't be the points leader if he wasn't, but Now going to add a checkered flag to the Season 5 resume. So he'll park it right there on the Talladega Night Superspeedway start-finish line in celebration of his victory here this evening. Let's take a look at the finishing results from this one, and it was a who's who of who was going to get through that wreck, through the tri-oval to get back to the start-finish line. We gave you the top three. Look at some of these guys and what they were able to salvage. Graham McDonald in fourth. Billy Elliser is going to bring it home in fifth. Robert Breedlove sixth. Alex Moe, the consistency continues for the 48. He qualifies at the back. I don't even think he puts down a qualifying lap each week. And he still brings it home with another top 10. Third in the point standings. Seventh for him. Eric Lovell. We saw him involved in a couple of wrecks in the early going. He'll get 8th. Greg Palmer 9th. Sean Dotson, he was involved in a couple of wrecks late. He'll get 10th. Ken Roberts will bring it home in 11th. Keith Bynum 12th. Johnny McNamara in 13th. Jeff Goodpaster in 14th. And Greg Lovell, yeah, you guys remember the caution prior to this one where he was a lap down after falling out of the server? He battled back for 15th place. Dan Lovell got 16th after I think he was in about 75% of the wrecks here this evening. Mike Mangialardi 17th. 18th, Craig Hagley, then Garland Oaks and Bob Dixon, the top 20. And tough break for a few of these drivers down here near the bottom of the finishing results. Randy Waugh, he was battling for
Luigi?
second place. Oh, I forgot to pause, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Sorry. He was battling for second, got hooked off the nose of, I think it was Ulysses Sandoval when he tried to come back down. He's going to have to settle for 27th place here tonight. Pat McCarsky, I think, was up there at the front too late. He was caught up in the wreck. He'll finish in 28th as we had 30 drivers finish on the lead lap. Denny Carroll as well was another driver that got hooked late as he was up in the top 5. 31st place for him. John Godfrey going to finish in 32nd. Chuck McClure finishing a lap down in 33rd. Remember, he was the first driver just below the cut line coming in tonight behind Ulysses Sandoval and John Godfrey, who both are going to get top 10s this evening. Or, I'm sorry, correction, Sandoval's getting a top 10. Godfrey just ahead of Chuck McClure. Paglia will finish in 34th out of the race. Brian Lovell 1 lap down, 35th. And then the rest of these drivers did not reach the conclusion. Doug Kulik, RJ Cabana, Jeffrey Elliott, Javier Negron, and Gary Heiser. Well, it's time to head into our FRN post-race wind-down and talk with our podium finishers. Let's kick things off with a driver who did not look like by any means he was going to be bringing it home in the podium. Back end all crunched in, fuel cell exposed, but Ulysses Sandoval brings it home in the third position. Let's see if we can dial him up now. Ulysses, it's Michael and Seth up here in the FRN booth. You got us?
The Meister is in the booth or shoe? How do you call this place?
Yeah, we'll call it the booth. I'll tell you what, you know, that thing looked like it had been through the wars, all crunched up on the back end, but hey, the front end still looked pretty good, aerodynamically sound, up there in the top 5 in the final 10, 15 laps of this race, and you bring it home for third position. I mean, just what was the adrenaline, the excitement like there in that position with a shot of winning this thing with a pretty half-totaled car?
Oh, I was taken out mid-race, and I was a bit frustrated for having damage. But I said, man, I have nothing to lose right now. I'm just going to stay out as much as I can because I know how the race is going to be. We had a pretty wrecking ball style race so far. So I knew if I was going to stay out, I'm going to make the most position. My car wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst to fall back. It was very intense at the end, and yeah, I could show everyone that with a damaged car, you can still make it.
Absolutely can. Now, obviously, we still got half the regular season to go before the playoffs begin, but still could be a little bit of pressure for the driver that comes in on the cut line holding the final playoff position, 12th in the point standings. That was you here tonight. Did you feel that pressure coming into this evening, or, you know, with this finish here tonight, how much more relief does that add to you?
Definitely, I was very stressed out because of how I was in the standings. I actually have a note paper saying who am I supposed to be in front if I want to make the most positions, and who am I supposed to be in front so they cannot pass me for the chase. I was looking at the note and looking where those cars were.
Well, there you go, folks. If you think these drivers aren't constantly thinking about points, there's your answer right there. Ulysses, congratulations on the great run here tonight. Consistent in that final run to the checkers and able to bring it home with a podium finish. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Well, you haven't seen much of me because of I was damaged. If you don't see me damaged, you can see much of the Wrecking Ball. A big shout out to my team Wrecking Ball: Garland Knox, Joshua Mercurio, Alex Ortiz, Javier Negron, and Zach Roberts. These guys, I mean, they are my friends. They feel like a family now. And a big shout out, of course, to Mama Sandoval, because she's gonna be watching me in this interview. So before leaving, hola, mami.
Well, Ulysses, congratulations on the great run here tonight. Hopefully, we see this be a string of consistent finishes down the home stretch in your attempt to make it into the playoffs. Should have a little breathing space heading into next week at the start of the regular season. Well done.
Yeah, I can sleep calmly. We'll see you next time, Seth.
Absolutely. Let's see if now we
User
can
was
dial up
moved
a
out
driver
of
that
your
was
channel.
close to picking up his second win on the season, but he brings it home in second place tonight. Let's see if we can dial up
User was
Rodney
moved to
Sullins.
your
Rodney,
channel.
Michael, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
I sure do, guys. How y'all doing?
I'll tell you what, we know when it comes to super speedway racing, these one-lap shootouts are entertaining for the fans, but nerve-wracking for the drivers. You had that outside line on the front row here for this restart, had Ken Roberts right behind you there to push. Looked like maybe you guys were organized a little better on that inside line through 1 and 2, but Grant gets up in front of you. What could you have done to be able to get around him?
Did everything I could do. Me and Ken were chatting there, and we were, what are we going to do here to try to get around him? And our main concern was the third line. We knew if the third line come, that our run would be over. So we kind of was trying to keep an eye out for that. But we knew that inside line get such a good run on the first lap. Had we had 2 laps, I felt good about our chances, but got a good run. Grant did what he had to do. I hate the accident happened on the last lap there coming through the tri-oval there, but hey, everybody's trying to go for it. You know, it is what it is at that point.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, we saw that you weren't able to make the prior race, had to take provisionals, lost the points lead, dropped to 4th, but still a comfortable cushion back to that cut line. With the way that this playoff system works, it's not a winning you're in situation. You got to be in the top 12 in points. How does that affect how you race on this final run? Does it affect it at all, or do you, being at the front, just see that checkered flag and want to be the first one to it?
Well, you know, that's kind of what you want to do every race. But, you know, as I've told you before, I go into the race just wanting to start off with the top 5. That's the goal, is the top 5, top 10 if things don't go my way. But if the seas part and the chance for the flag comes, then yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to get it. I'd like to win every race, but we all know that's not possible with some of these guys out here. Your Grants and Chucks and Elliots and Brant, you know, just all the guys here, just really good racers.
Well, Rodney, another good run for you here tonight, coming off that victory in the season opener, keeping you up there inside of the top 5 in the point standing, still securely in a playoff position with half the regular season left to go. Great second place run for you here tonight. Congratulations. Before we let you go, give you the opportunity to thank some sponsors and do some shout-outs.
Thank you, Seth. I appreciate it. Michael, looks like he's here tonight. Thank you both. Guys do a great job. I'm looking forward to watching the broadcast back. Thank the Elliots, Flatout Racing Network. Flatout Racing Network's a great, y'all do a great job. So you guys, the Elliots, for what they do here, all the admins here at Talladega Nights, obviously Jeffrey, Ken Roberts, the Levels, and the Dixon, and all the guys here that Denny, I believe, is one. Anyway, all the guys here, there's several of them. We appreciate it. We have a good time here. It's nice to come over here on a Saturday night and relax and try to have a good time. Black Rifle Coffee, Rock and Brews, Chevrolet. my dad's watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a fun race. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Rodney Sullins brings it home second place here this evening. Good way to cap off the first half of the regular season. Congratulations on the great run. Best of luck here down the home stretch, looking towards the playoffs.
Yeah, thank you. Congrats, Grant. I didn't say that. Congrats, Grant. Great job. Thanks, guys.
Rodney Sullins, your second place finisher, and we're
User
now going
was
to go
moved
down to
out of
victory
your
lane to the
channel.
driver he just mentioned. Let's see if we can dial up the driver of
User
the
was
88
moved
Dodge,
to your
Grant Wesley.
channel.
Grant, Michael, and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got a copy?
Oh, yeah, I got you.
All right, so we have dubbed your victory celebration perhaps the first burn over that we have ever seen here on FRN. Half burnout, half blowover. But all right, let's go back 3 weeks ago. You came up close to getting that victory. Go back 2 weeks ago. You come up just short in second place. You finally break through. You finally get that victory. I know you like leading the point standings, but I know you like getting those checkered flags as well. How good's it feel to get this one tonight?
Oh man, wins can be so hard to get sometimes. A guy here within our 2003, drivers, they pretty well got a formula as to how they race these super speedways. It's plug and play, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. I'm been able to put the 88 car up front. I've been able to lead a lot of laps on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, but closing them out is just really tough. I mean, you've always got guys right there on your tail, and you never know where to go. So, yeah, I'm just glad I was able to close this one out.
Michael and I observed, we've seen some one-lap shootouts here on FRN, and usually it seems to cater in the favor of the race leader on the restart. Did you feel any pressure or any stress there coming to that restart, or did you have a strategy in place to keep them all at bay?
No, you're exactly right. I was thinking the same thing coming to that restart. Usually the leader can kind of control both lanes a little bit. I figured kind of looking at the F2, I figured maybe a third lane may be coming. So after turn 4, I wanted to be on the bottom. That was my original thought. So yeah, basically I moved up to the middle down the back stretch, or I think it was going into 3 because the 41 cleared the 38. And at that point, I knew that my job was to keep my back bumper in front of that 41. So I moved up with them. And basically, I just kept it right in front of that 41 all the way to the finish line. I hated to see that carnage there coming to the line. I guess sometimes that's kind of the nature of the beast with this type of racing.
Well, race 2 brought it home third. Race 3, you bring it home second. Race 4, you bring it home with the victory. An amazing 3-race run, and going to have a pretty good gap there with the points lead heading into the second half of the regular season. Looking forward to seeing what you're going to be able to do in those final 4 races. We'll let you get back to your celebrating there in victory lane in just a moment, but first, give you the opportunity for some thank you sponsors and shoutouts, Grant.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank a few guys that worked with me really well tonight. Greg Palmer and Rodney Sullins and Ken Roberts. And there's a few other faces that I found throughout the night, but I just appreciate those guys for working with me. I'd like to thank the owners here, Jeff Elliott. Man, he does an awesome job with this place. It's really fun to come here and run with we have 41, 42 cars. Pretty amazing stuff. So thanks to him. I'd like to thank the admins here. This many cars can be difficult to kind of maintain. So they do an awesome job. So I know there's a bunch of admins, Ken Roberts and the Levels, and I know there's some people I'm forgetting there, but thanks to you guys. Thanks FRN, Seth and Mike. Man, you guys are the best. So just thanks for what you guys do, taking time out for us. Thank my teammates with XFM, my friends and family for watching, and my girlfriend Brittany.
Well, Grant Wesley becomes the 4th different driver to find victory lane here in Season 5 of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series. Congratulations once again on the victory, Grant. Go enjoy it, and best of luck here down the home stretch of this second half of the regular season in preparation for the postseason and the playoffs.
Thanks. Let's see if we can't close it out.
Absolutely. Grant Wesley, your
was
winner
moved out of your
here
channel.
tonight. Before we get closing thoughts, got to hear from one more individual. We got to have our factoids of the evening here, courtesy of Mr. Bob Dixon.
User joined your channel.
And I believe we've got him here. All right. Hit us with those factoids here tonight, Bob.
All right, man. Here they come. Top 5 fastest laps of the race. An honorable mention was Craig Hagley. In 5th place was Ken Huntsberry. KD did a 47.917 second lap. That's 199.846 mile per hour. And the top 5 fastest laps were all on lap 59. Figure that. 4th was Billy Elliser. Billy did a 47.879 second lap. That's 200.005 mile per hour. 3rd was Perry Bond. Perry did a hush. Perry did a 47.854 second lap. That's 200.109 mile per hour. 2nd was Jeff Goodpaster. Jeff did a 47.796 second lap. That's 200.352 mile per hour. And fastest lap of the night tonight goes to Bob Sire. Bob did a 47.791 second lap. That's 200.373 mile per hour. And the most laps led was our winner, Grant Wesley. Grant led 22, Robert Breedlove 14, Chuck McClure 8, Ken Roberts 7, Jeffrey Elliott 5, Nate Balser 3, Graham McDonald 3, Greg Lavelle 1, Rodney Sullins 1, Ken Huntsberry 1, and Bob Sire 1. And one more to go here. Your highest climber of the night, of the top 3 highest climbers. In 3rd was Sean Dotson. Sean started 33. He finished 10th. 2nd was Graham McDonald. Graham started 29th. He finished 4th. And 1st was Alex Moe. Alex started 44. I thought we only had 42 slots. And he finished 7th. And that's your factoids of the night there, Seth. Thanks for what you guys do for us.
Absolutely. Thank you for the factoids, Bob. Appreciate that each and every week.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Love it, love it.
Absolutely. All right. So, Michael, 4 races under their belts, 4 races still to go. I kind of feel like the theme right now is a little bit of relief for some of those drivers that we talked with. Obviously, for Grant, the victory. He's been trying the last few weeks to get that checkered flag. He's come up just short. We talked with Ulysses Sandoval, came in the cut line driver. Now he'll have a little bit of breathing space inside of the top 12 in the point standings. But for a lot of other drivers, not as much relief, a little bit more stress setting in because now you got to formulate a game plan down this home stretch. You know those guys inside the top 12 are going to be defending. You got to be on the offensive heading towards the playoffs if you're going to battle for that championship.
Absolutely. Got to make sure every position counts and you're up at the front where you need to be.
Well, we'll see if maybe next week we're going to go 5 for 5 in different drivers going to victory lane here in the regular season. But Grant Wesley is the most recent taking the checkered flag here tonight in race number 4. We appreciate everybody tuning into our coverage here this evening. Hope that you guys all enjoyed it. Next week, next Saturday night, we continue on the 5th season of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series as these drivers will prepare for race number 5, beginning the second half of the regular season. The green flag will fly at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Prior to that, Thursday night, we are beginning the Championship 4 battle, the first of the 2 races of that round for the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. That'll be Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to join us for both events. Should be good. Michael, wild one here tonight. 1-lap shootout to cap the whole thing off. Exciting from start to finish. Appreciate you joining me up here in the booth.
Absolutely. It was fun. Can't wait for the next time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining us here this evening. We'll see you guys next week. As for Michael Norman, I'm Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network.